Welcome back, College and Schools Personal Finance students. It's Ms. Clem, and we are moving on to the next topic in time value of money. And we're going to take a look at what we are calling an annuity. Now, we're still going to use the future value function, and most of the pieces of our puzzle are going to be the same. The difference is rather than having one pile of money that is going to be deposited and then let it grow for some amount of time in the future at a specific interest rate and compounded however often, could be monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, whatever, we are going to start dropping in regular payments. Okay. Now, in reality, that is kind of a ballpark idea, right? If I said, let's start putting money in a Roth IRA and let's put 500 bucks a month for the next 40 years, right? You guys get out, get a job, you've got earned income, and the annual limit is, 7,000 bucks. It's close to 600, but we're just going to call it 500 bucks to make math simple. That's fine, and it'll give you a ballpark number if you put in $500 every single month, never change that number, and you have the same rate of return. Now, time tells us that as you make more money in a job, you may be able to put more money in. As the IRS laws change, you may have the ability to put more than $7,000 a year in a Roth IRA. So we're looking at a consistent series of deposits at a set interest rate or a set rate of return that's not going to change. So we're ballparking some of these numbers. You'll see people go with like 6%, 7, 8% return on the stock market. If you're looking for a more conservative growth rate, maybe go down to 5%. I don't think I'd go much more than 8. So from a visual standpoint, here's an example. George deposits 3,000 bucks in an IRA, and George does it one time a year at the end of the year. He's going to do it for 3 straight years. He thinks this account's going to earn 10%. So at the end of year 1, he throws 3,000 bucks in. It then grows at 10%, and he's going to throw another 3,000 bucks in. So the first $3,000 made 300 bucks in interest, 3,000 original deposit, 300 in interest, plus another $3,000. So at the end of year 2, he's sitting at a balance of 6,300. Year 3, take the 6,300, have that grow at 10%, and add another 3,000 at the end of year 3. We're at 9,930. Since this money is getting deposited at the end of the year, our type is going to be 0. We did not start with any money, so our present value is 0. Here's the change. Payment is going to be a number. Right? Back when we were doing our regular future value, we had an amount of money we were dropping in to start, and we weren't either taking in or dropping out. Well, now we're going to start dropping in regular payments of 3,000 bucks. Our NPER is 3, and our interest, since it's an annual rate of return, and we're dropping this 3,000 bucks in once a year, our interest rate is going to be 10%. So we go to the spreadsheet and look at how we do that. Again, just mirroring the same information we got here. It is still a future value calculation. We've got our annual rate of return because we're dropping in an amount annually. We're not adjusting it. We're not dividing it by 2 or 4 or 12. It has to do this for 3 years. We have a starting balance of 3,000, and present value is nothing. We don't have any money when we do this. We'll put in 3,000 at the end of year 1. We'll put another 3,000 in. We'll put another $3,000 in. 9,930 when we do our math. 99.30 here from the old school, kind of long way of looking at it. So let's transition to our problem. We're looking at question number 3, and here's our story. Mr. Clem is looking to retire in the next 15 years. He thinks he needs $500,000 in his 403B or 401k to make that happen. He currently has $25,000 sitting in that account, and he's going to plan on depositing $750 per month. I'm switching at financial advisors, so they gave me 3 options. Each investment fund is going to have a different rate of return. Some are more aggressive in what they do, taking on more risk. Some are less aggressive. So here's my first option. Starting with $25,000 on a monthly basis, putting in $750 monthly for the next 15 years. And the investment I'm putting it in is a money market mutual fund that's getting 2.25% annual rate of return. Got to take that annual rate of return and divide it by 12 because I am putting money in monthly. Here is our start. $25,000 to begin, $750 a month. So we're looking at the future value of an ordinary annuity. Equals future value 2.25% divided by 12 because we're doing this on a monthly basis. 15 years at 12 months in a year. We're doing this 180 times. We drop in 750. We began with 200 or 25,000. When we get done doing our math, that is going to grow to $195,000. So the answer to question number 3A is, I think I need $500,000. Here's what I'm starting with. Here's how much I'm putting away for the next 15 years. This investment getting me 2.25% return, it's not aggressive enough. Or I don't have enough to begin with, or I'm not putting enough away. Any way you want to look at it, I'm not going to get my goal. I'm not going to reach $500,000 here. So that's why I said goal not achieved. 3B, same scenario as far as how much I'm looking for, how much I have, how much I'm putting away, how long I'm putting it away. This time I have an index mutual fund that has an annualized rate of return of 5.75%. So really, there's only one thing changing from Formula A to Formula B. It's my rate of return. My future value is 5.75%. That's the annual rate of return, but I'm going to divide it by 12 because I'm doing a monthly contribution. I'm doing 180 contributions in total. $750 a crack, starting value of $25,000. And again, I end up with $272,000. Again, goal not achieved. Not aggressive enough, not putting enough away, didn't start with enough. However you want to look at it, Clem doesn't get his $500,000. We say it's not going to work. Third option. Now let's look for something that is a more aggressive. Now, the more aggressive you go, the more risk you take on. My aggressive growth mutual fund has this hypothetical 9.55% annual rate of return. Again, this is the only thing that changes in problem 3C as in cat. $9.95 divided by 12 because I'm going to do my deposits monthly. I'm doing 180 deposits. I'm dropping in $750. I started with $25,000. I'm close. Okay, I'm at $402,000, which is close to 5. I don't know why 5 was the magic number. That doesn't really matter. $500,000 was my goal. I do not reach my goal with any of these three options. And I do this to you a bunch. I go to the next problem and say, ooh, wait a minute, we made a mistake. You heard Mr. Clem wrong. It wasn't $25,000 beginning balance, it's $250,000. So I'm halfway there. Now, on top of my $750 a month getting an investment return, my $250,000 of deposit that I'm bringing over also is going to get investment return. So we're going to rerun the math. And when we rerun the math for A, B, and C, the only thing that's really changing is rather than $25,000 of present value, it's going to be $250,000 of present value. Then let's go look and see which of these three investment options will actually spit out an answer that is larger than $500,000. So I go to 4. My money market, 2.25%, it gets me over $500,000. Again, 2.25% divided by 12, comma, how many? 180, comma, dropping in 750 and began with 250, and we're doing it at the end of the month. So my answer is yes, I achieved my goal. Now, all of the other pieces to the puzzle are the exact same for B and C. They have a greater rate of return, so it would logically say yes, the index mutual fund will achieve that goal. The actual number is $804,000. And again, C is in CAT, our aggressive growth mutual fund, at 9.95%. That's going to be $1.3 million. So we come back here. The question of number 3, none of my options meet my goal. My question of number 4, all 3 of my options meet my goal. This was future value of an ordinary annuity, meaning I'm dropping the amount of money in at the end of the period, whatever the period is. In this case, it was monthly. On the prior example, it was yearly. Next video up, we'll start talking about something called an annuity due.